Finally, the week has arrived and we unveil the victors, the losers, and those in the middle somewhere. But here's the question: is there the magic bullet that we've spoken about in past videos, or do you really just get what you pay for? Stay tuned, all will be revealed right after this introduction. Well, I'm going to start off with a quote from the great philosopher Agent Smith from The Matrix, where he said quite succinctly, "Do you hear that sound, Mr. Anderson? That is the sound of inevitability." And in a way, it's quite apt for this week's video. And to kind of condense it all down, it has been an absolutely fascinating test for us all here at Elite Audio. It's been very time demanding, time consuming, and genuinely we have put a lot of effort into doing this blind testing because ultimately, in our opinion, it is the only safe way to draw any kind of conclusion that has meaning. Meaning in the sense of that without the blind testing, placebo, personal bias, confirmation and so on will most certainly have been at play. So we've removed all of that and we now have the outcome of all of this testing. So in some respects, it's going to be a shorter video than maybe perhaps some of you think it might be, but it'll be very easy to understand why. And as you've seen from the previous week's videos, there hasn't really been any great surprises. Yes, there's been some, I would say, fiercely contested battles, particularly the Volumio Primo versus the Eversolo DMP A6, the standard edition. What we learned was that the software that controls each device can have a significant impact on the outcome. So I've made some notes because there's a lot to remember here. I don't want to forget any aspect of this week's video. So let's just quickly go through who the contenders were. So from Eversolo we had both DMP A6s, the standard, which comes in the UK at £759, and the master edition, which comes in at £1,199. And when we did that test, I think what we established was that the master edition, if you had the budget, it was worth spending the extra because of the performance gains. And again, in terms of the technical specification, we know that it's purely on the side of the master clock and also on the side of the op amps, and that is where the key performance differences came there. We also had the Volumio Primo, which once again is great value for money. It's £679, and in many respects it is the baby of the group in terms of costing. But we found that it can actually raise the bar quite significantly when you use Volumio's own app. From HiFi Rose, in last week's video we had the RS250A, and also in our bigger test we had the RS150B. They're £2,349 and £3,899 respectively. The only entry from Audiolab, the brand new just released 9000N with a hint of Lumen inside. I know we've covered this on the video from 2 weeks ago, but it's a pertinent point, and quite honestly, that device certainly proved that it's well worth that money. Then we had Eversolo's parent company, the Zadu brothers, the Neo S at £1,499 and the Neo Alpha at £2,999. Not only are they audiophile devices, but they offer a great deal in terms of video processing for those of you that require a device that not only meets the audio standards, but also where you've got perhaps a burgeoning, growing collection of ripped Blu-rays or downloaded files. And finally, we brought into the mix what would be, I would say, a much more expensive option with the SMS from a 200 Ultra Neo SE from SOTM at £1,877, and we partnered that with the Metrum Onyx with the DAC3 upgrade chipset, which brings it into a heady £2,999, and the combined value of those two devices certainly does make for an eye-watering outlay. So why did I use the great philosopher's Agent Smith's quote at the start of this video? Well, quite simply, what we have established, which may not come as a great surprise to those of you out there, is that you get what you pay for here. There is no magic bullet. I think the only couple of surprises were that the Audio Lab did perform exceptionally well given its price. I'm going to bring up the list, and so this will now be visible for you as I'm still talking here, where everything ranked. I don't see any purpose in bringing up the individual battles, because clearly as we go from the least expensive to the most expensive, the outcome was to a certain extent predictable. The one thing that I would say, I would say a few key takeouts from this. The most important element of everything, and this is the best advice that we can give you in terms of making a truly informed decision on whatever device it is that you are interested in buying, and that is listen and compare. Yes, you'll remember I've said this many times, ignore what you read and trust what you hear. And that is essential, because in each and every test that we carried out, somebody liked one of the devices. There was not a single device that ended up with 0 votes in the testing that we did. And that shows very clearly that there is something for everybody. Now, I wouldn't expect that to be any different, because ultimately we are all individuals with preferences about sound, aesthetics, ease of use. We have an existing system that we want to complement that in some way. So a very good audio dealer, and I would like to class ourselves in that category, will let you compare. We allow clients to have 2 different devices at home where they can do an A/B comparison, and then based on their actual experience of using it in their own system, making what is an informed decision that has at its core the sound that you heard within the system itself. The second takeaway is that the apps do indeed make a difference, and there is no getting away from that. We learned that the Volumio app raises the bar of that device performance significantly higher just by using its own app. So again, I would urge all of you to compare. Without even comparing devices, compare control software. So if you've got a device that works as a Roon endpoint, try it as a Roon endpoint and then try it with its own software. If it's UPnP, you can use something like mConnect as well, and again, try that. There's lots out there, so that becomes a secondary aspect of this type of purchase. The third takeaway is that aesthetics do matter, and there are no doubts that if we take the Eversolo devices, I think for the money that you have to pay to buy one of these, I think they're exceptionally well designed. I think they look great and they sound great. But again, what we've also learned is that all of these devices have very distinctive sonic signatures, and you can't say this device sounds a little bit like this device. The Solos all sounded similar, so both models. What's interesting is the Zidoo models, which are owned by Solo, had more of I would say a level of refinement, which is interesting. I didn't anticipate that aspect of it. The only scenario where a cheaper device outperformed something costing a few £100 more was where we put the Audiolab up against the Zidoo, and that was the Neo Alpha, which costs about £500 more in the UK than the Audiolab did. So that was the only case. But then remember, what we have with the Zidoo is kind of a hybrid device. It's not just for audio, so it does have the video capabilities that the Audiolab was never designed to have. So clearly there may be an element of compromise, but make no mistake that the Zidoo, in terms of its audio performance, was excellent. And if someone does indeed need a device that does both audio and video, the Zidoo makes an excellent choice. So there we are. It might seem a little bit of an anticlimax to a certain extent, and the thing, as I said, the sound of inevitability clearly was the buzzword about the testing that we did. And again, just to reiterate, every device had somebody liking it. That proves beyond all question that comparing is very much an essential part for you when you decide which is best for you. And that's where no one else's opinion really matters when it comes to personal preference. Nobody can tell you that you're hearing things wrong. And I've got many stories that I've heard over the years where clients, in expressing their taste or preference towards a particular device, suddenly find themselves being told either by another individual or indeed a hi-fi dealer that they must be hearing it wrong because this device is better than this device, or it's better than the one they already have. And that's just nonsense. Yes, better is subjective, and that better part, only you can decide. So what we've done here, we're not saying to you, yeah, this is best and this isn't. What we've proven is that we all have different tastes, and that's the only, and I would say the most important takeaway from all this testing that we have done. It has been, as I said, it's been a lot of time investment, and I actually want to thank our team for giving up their time, because some of it was done out of hours, so they gave up some of their free time to do this testing so that we can provide you with this information. And what we're very fortunate to have here at Elite Audio is a very passionate, dedicated and caring team who really do want you guys to have a great buying experience, but most importantly, above everything else, is that whatever you decide to buy, you're doing it for the right reasons. So there we have it. There's not really much else I can add except for one thing, and that is, as always, every week, big favour to ask you. We can see who are watching but not subscribing, and it would mean such a great deal to us if you could just take a few seconds to subscribe to our YouTube channel. And our commitment is that we will continue to bring you relevant content, things that you're going to enjoy watching, and we welcome as much feedback as you can give us so that we can fine-tune everything we do that matches what you want as a viewer of our YouTube channel. Again, I want to thank my team for the effort that they've all put into making this possible, and as a small family business, I want to thank everybody that has supported us over the years, who has shown their trust and given us their faith in terms of allowing us the privilege of helping them build a great audio system. And that absolutely, I can tell you, is a fantastic privilege. I can't think of anything in audio that's more rewarding than having the feedback from a customer who really has grown their system in a way that we've facilitated and made that easy for them. One other favour is, as always, I'll put a link into our newsletter subscription, because in there you get early bird offers, exclusive offers, things that you will never see on our website, and also you get the first bite of the cherry of part exchange equipment that has gone through all our pre-owned and pre-loved testing so that we can provide it to you as good as buying a new device. We give a great warranty on all our pre-owned stuff, so why not just have a look at our newsletter and see if it has something. There's no harm in subscribing. You can always unsubscribe the following week if it's not for you. So there we go. It does feel a bit like an anti-climax for me too, because I guess I was hoping somewhere there would be this very clear, and I use the term magic bullet, that would shine through, but inevitably, I guess if you think we're dealing with some of the world's best manufacturers, they know the competition, they've probably got all their devices in their lab stripped down, and they've done their sonic comparisons, so, and everything has to be built at a cost. So bearing in mind that we've got all different price points, what I see is that each device, as you move up each price point, has something different to offer as you progressively go up. And one thing which is a very true statement about this industry is that it is a law of diminishing returns. When you get into the 5-figure sums of money, which is as much as an average family car sometimes, you start to find that the performance gains are less noticeable. So, if you have the money, then that's absolutely fine. But what I genuinely believe is there's a sweet spot in the audio pricing that gives you what I feel is overall the best value for money. And we always strive to impart that advice and knowledge anytime that we engage in a conversation with you about your audio system. And we love to chat about audio, so if you want some unbiased, friendly advice, please call us, drop us an email. All the contact details are in the end of the video, and also in our information section below this YouTube video itself. Everything is there, how to get in touch. Once again, I want to thank you for watching this week. As you know, we have a break next week, and then the week after we're back again, and you'll have us weekly until the end of the year. And there's lots of great content we have planned. We've really learned a lot from the videos we've done most recently. We know what gives you the best viewing experience. We want to keep building on that. So please stay with us, help us grow this video channel and make it something that is especially good for you. As always, have a great week listening to music, and I will look forward to seeing you all again in 2 weeks' time. Thanks for watching.